in regards to in this era and the prior era in Indonesian football, there has been kind of steps made, innovations made at the grassroots level. For example, Pak Erick Thohir just recently did an opening ceremony for a youth tournament that has taken place as well. And it has shown that there's a lot of youth potential, but there's this gap between the highest level and to where the grassroots are. So what have you got planned in the first 100 days? Do you have any plans to visit any of the regions or to meet any of the coaches and staff in these areas in order for you to get a better understanding on what it is that they need exactly at these levels and in these different areas for them to be able to connect or close the gap? That's the first part of the question. Maybe you can address that first.
Yeah, so first we need to identify the challenges and we need to set the key priorities where we can make the quick wins, and that has to be in the first 100 days, needs to be being done by analyzing, by listening, by talking with the stakeholders, talking with the coaches, talking with the tutors, talking with the national team coaches, talking with the talent ID department. Okay, what are the challenges now? How we can move forward? What are the priorities? Because there are maybe a long list, but we have to take, okay, where we can now make the quick wins. So the first 100 days, we want to take the moment for ourselves to say, okay, where we can set our targets for the short term, where we can go to the grow to the long term, and where we can go for the midterm and the long term. Because it's a process. We cannot implement all at the same time because there's a full ecosystem that needs to be developed and improved all together in a step-by-step process. And it needs to be doable together.
Okay, and also a second part of that question was in Indonesian football philosophy. You mentioned philosophy a few times in our conversation, and there's a philosophy that Iksan referred to, which is Villanesia. Is there something that you can use to be implemented in our football federation?
Yeah. So a national football philosophy is based on to respect the past. So recognize what was the strength of Indonesian football before. What was the strength of Indonesian legendary players? What make them different? What make them unique? And at the same time, benchmark Indonesian football to reach our targets. So with top international level. So okay, where are the gaps for our future players? So where we need to work more on, what player we need to have in the future. So that's for the player identity. But then we need also to identify how our national teams, how the teams should express themselves on the pitch. So there need to be a connection between the values of Indonesia and to the style of play, in the way how we coach and how we teach them. And that needs some investigation, benchmarking, setting, also with data, also with interviews, also listening to what was the strength in the past to rely on, because we must not forget what happened in the past with your Indonesian legendary players. This is strength, that was your identity, they were your heroes. So we should carry them also to the better future.
Thank you. Untuk menjawab pertanyaan pertama mengenai gimana caranya untuk membuat ini ya, yang pertama adalah gimana caranya untuk bisa identify atau mengenali tantangan yang dihadapi, yaitu Alex mempercayai bahwa ada kebutuhan untuk bisa meraih quick wins atau kemenangan yang lebih cepat. Itu artinya hal-hal yang bisa diselesaikan lebih cepat atau short term, ya, solusi untuk masalah yang atau tantangan yang lebih short term, di mana itu akan membawa mereka untuk mencari solusi untuk mid term dan long term juga, karena ini sebuah proses yang cukup panjang, ya. Dia harus melakukan ini dengan analisa dan iya benar dengan ngobrol sama stakeholder juga dan para pelatih juga, dan again, balik lagi ke identifikasikan bakat ya. Ini satu hal yang sering dibahas juga oleh Alex karena ini sebuah penting. Dan mengenai identitas sepak bola di Indonesia, dia sangat mempercayai bahwa masa lalu kita emang harus dihargai ya. Apa kekuatan pemain-pemain kita atau pemain nasional kita dari zaman dulu, apa yang membuat mereka beda, apa yang membuat mereka unik. Dan ini hal-hal yang bisa menjadi benchmark untuk kita bisa lihat ke masa depan juga. Jadi untuk kita bisa menilai dari pemain kita sekarang dan apa tujuan kita untuk ke depan. Terima kasih Mas Iksan atas pertanyaannya. One more last one. Yes.